in the NFL. So they had a meeting today, and then he came over and got a chance to talk to us. On the competition committee, a couple of interesting things I thought. Well, one, when he was discussing... Oh, gee. Oh, he got me good.
I thought it was somebody else. I looked over. I thought it was somebody else. I was like, what is Dom doing behind me? Well...
Okay.
Yeah, well, I heard the snickering. Yeah.
Oh,
that's the open.
That is
That's the open of our video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana here with Dan Fades at the NFL Scouting Combine. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The Combine really getting started today, Mike. The first person at the podium, the first coach to speak, was Bills head coach Sean McDermott.
Yeah, and he's busy today because he's on that competition committee, which he takes very seriously. It's a big role in the NFL. So they had a meeting today, and then he came over and got a chance to talk to us. On the competition committee, a couple of interesting things I thought. Well, one, when he was discussing... Oh, gee. Oh, he got me good.
I thought it was somebody else. I looked over. I thought it was somebody else. I was like, what is Dom doing behind me? Well...
Okay.
Yeah, well, I heard the snickering. Yeah.
Oh,
that's the open.
That's
the open of our video. That was awesome.
All right. Oh,
no, that was
That'll
gold.
Be good.
That was gold.
Yeah, that was Sean McDermott. Actually, I was like, who's walking behind us until I turned around?
And right over there, where all the media members were snickering, and that's what really drove it home.
Yeah. Buffalo Plus. See, we bring out the best. Also, when I gave Sean the microphone, you're going to hear from him in a second, he's like, this is my next job. I think he wants a gig with us.
And he complimented my suit.
Look at that. I was mentioning the competition committee. It looks like the kickoff rule, not official yet, maybe moving it back, trying to make it to the 35-yard line.
Yes.
They want more kickoffs returned.
Yeah, and he's also seemingly anti-tush-push.
Oh, I think he's anti-tush-push.
He's not against the play or necessarily the advantage. What Sean made a point clear at the podium was the health and safety of players.
Yeah.
He says it doesn't seem like while he thinks that you put that at the top, that's a play that doesn't really embody what they're saying about the health and safety. He added the fact that he doesn't know the data behind the injury rate. We were both saying we haven't seen a lot of injuries from it. But that was one of the things that I thought was because it looks like the Green Bay Packers were the ones that proposed banning the tush push.
Yeah, we'll see if it's altered, if you're not allowed to do certain parts of it. That's all about that.
Thrown off.
We did the whole time. He was up at the podium, and then I got a chance to talk to him briefly for a bit of a one-on-one conversation. Here, take a listen. Sean, I felt for the last couple of years you've been trying to establish something on offense to be more physical and efficient, and you've done that. Defensively, do you feel like you need to reestablish your identity on defense?
Well, I think we need to evolve, I would say. And when you evolve, sometimes that means coming back to some things as well in terms of an identity. And it starts with toughness. It starts with being nasty on defense and physical. Those three things go hand in hand with playing great defense.
Offensively, both you and Brandon have been vocal about Keon. And you've used the word disappointment, and you said he had a rocky year. He's obviously an important player to you going forward. Is it sort of a message to say we need you and we need you to come back and be ready for your second year?
And that's it. I mean, really, it's, the first year for every rookie in the NFL is challenging in a lot of different ways. And his season got really challenging in the back half of the season after the injury. We have full confidence in Keon. The challenge that remains is putting in the work, taking the right approach mentally and physically to get himself back here to play great football for us in year two.
You are coming off a long season, very busy. You come to the draft. What is your role in the draft now, and how does it evolve?
Well, it's been about the same, quite frankly. Brandon controls the draft. We communicate, and at the end of the day, he has the final say, and I support him every way I can.
All right. Thanks very much, Sean McDermott, Bills head coach. Yeah, and I really came out of that because he had mentioned it also with the Keon stuff in the news conference that, they are blunt about the way he played.
Yeah, they're not sugarcoating it. For a lot of times we hear they shower their own players with compliments, and rightfully so. But we heard at the end of your press conference, Brandon Beane said he was disappointed at the end of Keon's season. He kind of reiterated that again today, calling it a rocky season, wanting to see the way that he comes back. I liked how you phrased the question, and I think Sean had a chance to kind of clarify, because I think that gets a little bit like, oh, he's calling out Keon. He just goes, you don't know how players are going to respond. He said the same thing with Cole Bishop.
Yeah.
Cole, he was asked if Cole's going to have an increased role next season because of the safety position. And he goes, we'll see.
We hope so.
We hope so. And he goes, you'll find out really quickly when a guy walks back in a building if he's been busting his tail or not. It's too early right now in the end of February to say, Cole Bishop, second year, he's going to be our guy.
So the other part I noticed was when he was talking about players, saying sometimes a guy will have a good first year and then sort of rests on those laurels a little bit. Another guy who doesn't play a lot, I would say like a Bernard, is a guy like that, comes back the second year on fire, ready to go and making plays. So, you never know. But this team has a lot of guys like that they need to start counting on. How do we know how Carter plays next year? He got a few snaps, didn't play a lot, had injuries. He could come back really ready to make an impact in year 2, which would make a huge difference on that D-line where we know they need more players.
And it's a fine balancing act between quitting out a guy too early, saying they're not the guy that you think they're going to be, while also giving them time to develop. But I do appreciate the feet to the fire kind of mentality of, hey, you put in the work, we'll see how it is on the field. That was one of the things he pressed about. He always says, and he's joked around about it with us and in the media, I don't like playing young guys. I only play first guys. If they can play and they've earned it, then they get it.
Yeah.
Like those are the guys that are going to play. So for everybody that says, well, he doesn't play as young guys. Well, they weren't ready because they're seeing them every day in practice and meetings. That was a big thing for Cole. Come back stronger. Come back with a more masterful knowledge of the defense. That will be a huge thing for not just the Bills, but for Cole in playing time.
Yeah, he also talked about how happy he was for Josh Allen to win the MVP. And I think one other answer we can put in here is when he was asked about speed and playmakers on offense. And it's pretty clear. And, listen to what Sean had to say when asked about bringing that element to Josh Allen in the offense.
Well, without getting too much into strategy and whatnot, I am a believer in that speed, stretching the field. Not just vertically, but horizontally and vertically. I think it just opens up a defense, and so I thought we did that at times. Probably not enough this year, and not just throwing the ball deep. It doesn't always mean that. It means taking a short pass and taking it, and some good rack yards for us in production. So I thought overall we did some good things in that wide receiver room. I really do. Can you always benefit from adding more speed? Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, by the way, Sean stopped back one other time to talk to us, talked about being a dad, impressing his kids when they're little.
Yes.
Then they start going, oh, Dad, talk to you about the kids. I mean,
he's going to try and hook my wife and I up with a babysitter.
Yes.
Like, we need help.
He has
need help.
He's had a babysitter in Buffalo. He's done a great job. One of 5 girls.
Yeah, was showering them with compliments.
I would say this is full-on off-season Sean.
Yes, and we would have talked longer. He had to go to dinner. He's got meetings, all of those things. I also love the fact that Sean says he was asked about this wide receiver class. We are at the scouting combine. That's a big thing about it. Sean goes, he has 0.0% knowledge at this point of the process. And then he likes to have a clean slate. Those 15-minute interviews that they will get here, he said it is a very small sample size. It's a gut feeling. He goes, players can be something with us for 15 minutes and be something completely different. That's a bigger process.
Yeah, and Sean also mentioned, they will meet with players here. And a lot of times the guys who know them, maybe it's Bean more and some of the coaches would get more time. He said he may jump in at times. Usually it's something maybe that they said one thing about the board and he may see it differently. But then a lot of those 30 visits that they're permitted to have, that's when he and Brandon Beane and some of the scouts, the high-up people that are going to be, he's going to be making the pick in terms of Brandon Beane, they get to ask more questions. So I think he knows his role. His role is to learn more about these guys and then have the opinion of a head coach. But it's certainly Brandon Beane's deal to make the pick.
Sean McDermott, the jokester, on full display here at the NFL Combine. Tomorrow we will hear from Brandon Beane. We talked to Chris Trapassa. We will have more content coming up over the next few days here in Indy. From Mike Catalana, I'm Dan Fates. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Where else are you going to see Sean McDermott pulling dad jokes, pretending like he's walking down the stairs? Appreciate it. We'll see you next time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris.